for a while. Looks like some changes were made, and we're gonna see what we can do here. But I thought the Jake Paul fight. Going into it, I'd say not a hater, but definitely more of a detractor than a fan. He definitely has some skills. He had the money to train with the Mayweather camp and perhaps some other places, and did acquire some skills. But never really felt he would be in the top 50. Regardless of which weight class. And I think he fought a couple fights maybe in the light heavyweight boxing class, but I think mostly in the cruiserweight and heavyweight class. And a lot of fighters that were much older than him, like a 58-year-old Mike Tyson when he was 28, I think, or 27, and other fighters that were, 12 to 20 years older than him. Um, and this fight just seemed like a strange one. I know it was a short notice fight booked when Gervonta Tank Davis pulled out of their matchup. And that was definitely an interesting one. The weight difference there, and he ended up going with the weight difference against Joshua. It's funny, I think Tank is, I think, what, maybe like 5'6" or something like that. So he went from fighting a guy 5'6" who was going to come in at like 140 to fighting a guy 6'6" who came in at about 240. Anyway, it was frustrating. He ran, he clinched. It wasn't very fan friendly. But in all honesty, I think he did the best that he could to try to survive. I think that probably he was hoping to go the distance, and that didn't happen. Um, Overall, I would say that I was impressed that he took the fight, and even though he did not engage, there wasn't a lot of choice. I think, just, thinking he was going to stand in the pocket and trade, or just, try to, move his head around and be target practice for a much bigger, taller, more technical, more powerful fighter in Anthony Joshua, would have been foolhardy, but I know that's what the general public would have liked. Anyway, kudos for Jake Paul for taking that fight. Yes, he made a lot of money, right? I know. He doesn't deserve people to say what an amazingly great guy he is for collecting tens of millions of dollars, but for taking a fight that he was overmatched instead of his opponents being overmatched, and that he didn't have any advantages, with the only one being 7 or 8 years younger, but that was negligible. Really, 28 against 35 or 36. In some cases, it can make a difference, but not with the skill disparity and the size disparity. Um, Ended up getting his jaw broken, and that's not a lot of fun. Haven't had it happen to me, but I've known some people that it did, and it's not pleasant at all. Um, would it have been better if he would have tried to engage more? Would have been better for the people that wanted to see him, get his comeuppance and get smashed. But he did end up getting stopped, and I'm not going to say I'm a fan now, but unlike some people, I feel like I want to give him credit for having gone in there and taken his medicine. Um, I thought that he might call it a career after this fight when they asked him. I thought he might say, "Hey, I know I frustrated a lot of you guys by facing older and overmatched fighters, and so I thought I'd give you one here on my way out. Keep the change or whatever." He didn't do that, but I'm not sure where he goes from here. It'll be interesting to see. So let's see what you think. Love to hear your opinions.